Hi, and welcome to Focus on Health. This is our twice-a-month show. My name is Jay Cohen. I'm the branch director of the Winsted YMCA. And every episode, we bring in individuals and organizations and initiatives that are doing something to improve the community's health and help move us forward. And tonight, it's my pleasure to introduce our guest. I'm excited to have him, Art Laney, who is the food service director for the Winchester Schools. And I'm sure we're going to have a great, interesting conversation tonight. And just a reminder that if you're watching this live, we would love to hear from you. Our phone lines are open. There's actually a new phone number here at the studio if you're a regular caller. The new number is going to be popped up on the screen in a little bit, but it's 860-238-7518. So feel free to give us a ring. We'd love to hear from you if you've got questions or comments about the school food system, school lunches, and anything related. All right. So, Art, thanks for joining me tonight. I appreciate you spending some time with me.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Lunch is a huge part of school, and school is a huge part of kids' life. They spend more time there than they do anywhere else. And obviously, a keystone of that is lunch. And I have such fond memories of school lunch from when I was in school, and just the fun we had and the things we ate that were great, maybe not so great. And I'm sure that in the many, many years since then, things have changed a lot. So what's food service like at the school these days?
They've changed quite a bit, Jay. New regulations have come in. They're pushing more fresh fruits, vegetables. There's a whole lot of change since the days when we went to school and got the cardboard pizzas.
Absolutely. I would hope so.
Yeah.
And, So how are all these changes being, I guess, received by the kids?
At first, they were a little skeptical. They were seeing vegetables they had never seen before on their plate. Portions have changed. They've gotten smaller. Some kids didn't really like that. I hear a lot about the high schools, how some of the larger kids playing football and stuff were not too happy about the portions of their lunches. So we've kind of try to get them to think more about their portion sizes and what they really need for the day.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, the school lunch is a learning opportunity. That's where we try and, I would imagine, role model for them. This is what you should be eating, how much you should be eating. I guess the challenge is once they leave school, hopefully they're following those same rules and habits.
Well, you try to instill an eating habit in them.
Yeah.
What they do out of school doesn't always work that way with all the fast food places on their way home.
Yeah.
And a lot of parents just don't have the time to be cooking home meals anymore. So
it is a challenge, and with more and more, two working parents, and to find that time, and but yeah, it can be a huge challenge. And before we dive in too much more to the conversation, I actually went over to Pearson School last Friday, and Art gave me a quick tour of the lunchroom and let me visit with the kids, and we took a quick video of just what lunchtime looks like at the 5th and 6th grade school here in town. So why don't we run that video, and Art, you can tell me, we'll see what we're looking at here.
So these are our 5th grade classes. That's the cafeteria at Pearson School. It's a bunch of happy kids.
Yeah, absolutely. They were excited to see us, as you can see. Yeah. And it was pretty full. How many different lunch waves do you have there?
We only have we have 2 lunch waves there. We have the 5th grade and the 6th grades.
Okay.
And you happen to be there on pizza day, so they're usually in a very good mood on that day.
Absolutely. It's I could live on pizza. I'm a pizza fanatic.
I tell. Now you see we got your fresh fruits out there now, the oranges, apples, and those are offered daily.
Excellent. Now, and now that's I think an important distinction you brought up, and we just saw. You said offered, and we saw the kid grab the orange. Now, what's the policy regarding fruits and vegetables? Is it something that's automatically on their plate, or it's something they have to choose?
They get a choice of their fruits and vegetables, but they have to take half a cup of fruit, half a cup of vegetable daily. Okay. That's mandatory by the federal regulations now. That's what's changed.
So there's someone actually in the line that makes sure before they leave that they've got that on their plate?
Yep.
Oh, wonderful.
They have to have it on their plate.
Because I know that there's been all sorts of research that shows if it's on their plate, there's a much higher chance that they're going to eat it. If they have a choice whether or not to take it, obviously if they don't take it, they're not going to eat it.
Yeah.
But when they're given that choice, they tend not to choose it, and then
they're not going to. Yeah. Prior to this year, they had to choose 3 components.
Okay.
And it didn't have to be a fruit or a vegetable. They could have taken, say, the pizza, a milk, and a piece of bread or something. And very rarely would they take the fruit or the vegetable. So now they're trying more fruits and vegetables, which is a good thing.
Excellent. And do you and they get to experiment with new stuff? Like, is it always just the apples and oranges and fruit cocktail, or do you get to introduce some variety?
We get some variety. I mean, a lot of it goes towards what the season is and what we can afford to put out there. I mean, they'll get pineapples and stuff like that, but it's mainly seasonable. A lot of the vegetables we'll try different things, like maybe squash or something like that they don't normally see in a school lunch. And they seem to take to it. After the first couple of times, they're not quite sure what it is.
Yeah.
They might poke at it a little bit and say, what is this on my plate? But then they try it and be surprised how many of the kids actually take to it.
Absolutely. I think I think most kids will adjust to anything given just a little bit of time.
Yeah, and exposure to it. A lot of them haven't seen any of that stuff before.
Absolutely. And just like we were talking before, hopefully that blends into the home. They go home and say, Mom, Dad, I tried this. Can we make this for dinner? And you know, one thing I actually tried with my kids a little while ago, I got to try again because it's going to take a few introductions before they really dive into a spaghetti squash.
Spaghetti squash, yeah.
You know, that
is. I like spaghetti squash.
I love spaghetti squash. I tried to sell it that it was actually spaghetti, but they saw where it came from, so they weren't quite sure.
Put a little sauce on it.
Exactly, exactly. Now, how many kids do you serve through in an average day?
Average day, at Pearson School itself, probably about 175 kids, right around there. 175, close to 200, maybe a day.
And then you've also got kids at Batchelor and Hinsdale as well.
Yes,
right?
that's about the same amount each school.
All right, so you're about 500-600 a day.
Yeah.
And that's how many you're eating. That's not the total school population.
No, that's about how many you're eating.
Okay. So what percentage of kids buy school lunch every day?
I would say we're pretty close to about 85% of the kids, maybe. I would say closer to maybe 80% of the kids eat lunch there.
Wow, that's great. I have no idea if that's high or low or average for school systems.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. I mean, now breakfast, on the other hand, we're probably around at 30%. So when we do serve breakfast daily to all the kids too, if they want.
Now, breakfast is a new program, somewhat new, or at least new.
It's well, we've had breakfast for a few years now, but the state and federally are trying to push breakfast, showing studies that the kids that have breakfast are more attentive and they learn better, and it's just better for them to start their day that way.
Yeah, so many kids I know come to school having had no breakfast at home, so this gives them an opportunity, and without breakfast, you know, they say it's the most important meal of the day.
Yeah,
it really
that's
is.
what they say.
Yeah, I know I can't go without
No.
breakfast. I've got my daily routine, and if I miss that, I'm off. So it's huge. Now I know there are different initiatives and different methods for introducing breakfast. I know some school systems, you know, have it available in the cafeteria. Some have like stationed around school. Some actually serve them right in the classrooms.
Yeah.
How do they do it here in Winchester?
We typically serve it through the lunch line.
Okay.
We have in the past do breakfast in the classroom also, which is nice, but it's just a logistic thing that we try not to do. So right now we're sticking with going through the line.
Okay, so do kids have to get to school particularly early to take advantage of breakfast?
There's time allotted in the morning for them if they want to come through the breakfast line every day. I think they get about 15, 20 minutes in the morning before the homeroom.
And is there a fee? Is it free?
It runs the same as the lunch.
Okay.
If they're on a reduced or free application, they can come get a free or reduced breakfast. And I think we charge maybe $1 for breakfast if they're not.
That's a bargain. You may see me in the breakfast line there.
Come on down.
And so that's a number that you're trying to bring up then, the breakfast percentage.
Yeah, we need to get that up. I mean, statewide, I think Connecticut ranks one of the last in the country for breakfast participation, which is kind of sad. And then there, statewide, there's a big breakfast summit coming up in Hartford, I believe next month, where they're trying to get all the systems in the state to push the breakfast. Not a lot of systems still even offer breakfast. They want everybody to.
Yeah. Well, that's a great initiative. I think you're working with End Hunger Connecticut on that.
Yes.
They're big proponents of the breakfast system.
Large on that. They've actually helped us out quite a bit.
Wonderful.
They came up and she helped me actually write a grant for the state that we won last year. So
Fantastic.
yeah, it was nice.
Now, speaking of grants, I know you also do the summer food program.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about that.
The summer feeding program, it runs through the whole summer as soon as school ends. And any child under the age of 18 can come and get a free lunch Monday through Friday. We start serving the lunches 12 till about 1:30. And they can come down right to the park. I'm not quite sure what the name of the park is, but...
Is it Rowley Field?
Right on this road.
Right where the playground is.
Right where the playground is and everything. And they can come down there and they're set up there to give them bag lunches. It's usually a sandwich, some juice, some oranges, apples, you know, some fruit with that. And
that's completely free?
That's completely free. You don't need an ID, anything. You just show up, and here's your lunch.
That's wonderful. That's a great service.
Yeah, it's gone over. It's grown tremendously over the last 2 years.
And that's federally funded?
That is federally funded also, yes.
Okay, great. And now you're looking to expand that program? And
if the numbers warrant, we'd expand.
Yeah.
I mean, right now we serve out of mainly the park. We would, if needed, we'd move to another spot too to make it more convenient for families to get there.
Wonderful. Now, with this, we were talking about the health of the lunches. I know there's been a huge push. It's part of the First Lady's, initiative, the Let's Move campaign. So there's the movement piece, but there's also the nutrition piece. And she's been a big proponent of that, and I know has helped push through some changes in legislation to the health food standards. So, what are some of the changes you've seen implemented on that level?
Well, most of the changes we talked about was the fruit and vegetables they have to take. There's a calorie limit of what they can have per week, per day. And it's like for a middle school child, they don't want the calories to be over 650 a day.
Yeah.
Which sometimes is difficult to stay below. I mean, we have to. And so that's where some of the portions come in, where kids will look at the portions and say, it's not enough, I'm still hungry. But to get our federal money, we have to keep it where they say.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't agree with all of it, because I think different kids